What happened to Texas Tech Saturday? Will Ezekiel Elliott serve his suspension? And can the Packers survive without Aaron Rodgers? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle.
The Red Raiders are coming off a tough loss on the road at West Virginia Saturday. Billy, what happened to Texas Tech in Morgantown?
They completely fell apart. You have a great first half, scoring the ball efficiently.
A fantastic first half, not even a great first half.
It was looking like it was almost going to be a blowout.
You had an 11-point lead on the road in one of the toughest environments in the Big 12. And then at one point, it's an 18-point lead, and you still can't finish it off.
Yeah, and like you said, great first half, and then it comes out second half. One thing that I just kind of saw here that I jotted down was after that first touchdown that we started off in the second half, this is the drive possession that we had. It was punt, missed field goal, interception, punt, and interception. I mean, whenever you do that in the second half, put up only 7 points against a very powerful offense in West Virginia, I mean, you can't expect them to win much games. And as well as the defense played throughout that game, they had some late game.
They can only do so much.
Exactly. They had some late game struggles that ended up, putting us in a bad position. But then time and time again, you got to put up more than 7 points in the second half, especially if you're this Texas Tech offense.
I think it's coming back to the Texas Tech offense. And last year is, we can't win because we don't have a defense. Now we can't win because the offense doesn't have the ability to close out football games. Mm-hmm. And we really, if you go back and look at the Arizona State game and the Houston game, the offense almost cost us that game as well by just kind of giving up and taking their foot off the pedal at the end.
Three and out.
When you go to the Oklahoma State game, if you look at that game as well, the offense didn't show up. The defense, I want to give credit to them, 44 rushing yards to a really good rushing attack of West Virginia. They held one of the best running backs in the Big 12 to just a little over 40 yards. They got after Will Grier all day. But I just think, again, now it's the offense. It's just like Tech can't put together both sides of the football. You have a quality defense. You can't back it up with an offense finishing the game in the second half. But I look, too, a little bit, obviously the 3 missed field goals played a huge part. That can't happen when you're on the road. The amount of penalties, 16 penalties in that game, that can't happen as well. So we'll see if they can figure out any of these things. But that's a game that's going to come back to haunt Texas Tech at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, and I know it's haunting fans all over the campus right now, just knowing that we had it so close within our grasp, and then we let it slip through our fingers.
You're probably a top 15 team, or at least inside the top 20.
Oh, yeah.
If you got that win, because Arizona State defeated number 5 Washington. So
that
that's
makes
a big
that one
win.
look just that much better.
And Houston continues now. No, I think Houston did lose this past weekend, but yeah, I don't know. Texas Tech's got to figure it out, and this isn't going to be an easy matchup this week with Iowa State coming down.
No, they're not. Ezekiel Elliott's playing status is up in the air once again. As of now, he is suspended the 6 games after an injunction was lifted. Kyle, will he actually serve the suspension?
I believe so. I mean, there's still some other legal matters and appeals that he can go through to maybe push off the suspension even longer after the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, the 5th one in New Orleans, kind of lifted that injunction that was allowing him to continue to play. But I just think at some point he was going to have to serve it. He's going to end up serving the 6-game suspension. And I think it will start this week unless he's able to get an appeal through. And I think the Cowboys can survive without him because they do have 2 very capable running backs. But obviously you don't want to lose the production of a talent like Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know when he's going to serve the suspension. I mean, with all the injunctions and the appeals that go on, whether it's not to be said it'll be served this week or next week or even the week after, I'm not too sure. But I do believe he will serve the suspension. It's kind of falling into that same essence of the Tom Brady Deflategate. It took him a whole year before he actually served his suspension, but he did serve it, and I believe that will be the same case for Ezekiel Elliott, and it's looking like it is going to end up being this year, and so that's going to make some things tough here for the Dallas Cowboys, especially when you have him play those first 5 games of the year and you only win 2 of them. Yeah. So now you're already in a tough spot,
and his numbers aren't that great either.
And I do feel like that has to do a lot with all the stuff that's going around him, involving with the courts. His mind isn't fully there.
Of course, that one game he just didn't show up in at all.
And against Denver, he just played atrociously and then gave up midway through the game. But that's neither here nor there. But moving forward, I think the Dallas Cowboys do have something that they can build on with Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris, two serviceable backs.
I really like
a 1,000-yard
Morris,
rusher and Darren McFadden 2 years ago.
And Alfred Morris back-to-back when he was with Washington before he kind of fell off the face of the earth at the same time as RG3 did. But, yeah, those are two very capable backs that I think that can continue to carry the load. I think they can replace the production. Obviously, you can't replace Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
But I think they can replace the production enough. But I wouldn't even say Ezekiel Elliott is the biggest problem for the Cowboys right now.
I mean, that definitely falls into their defense once again, just late game collapses. But I'll tell you one thing right now, that this is going to be a big moment for Dak Prescott and how he can step up to the plate and deliver without his prime-time running back, Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, we'll see what happens this Sunday.
We will.
Aaron Rodgers suffered a broken collarbone Sunday against the Vikings and could be out for the season. Billy, what is the outlook for the Packers without Rodgers?
Not good. It is not good. Right now, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player to his team in the entire league. If you take out other players, other quarterbacks, they still have other things with their team that going on, run games, defenses. But right now, the Green Bay Packers, it's all Aaron Rodgers. Their defense is questionable at best.
Like maybe Matt Stafford, too, as well, in that kind of category.
Yeah, that would be. But even then, I feel like the Lions have a better pass rush and a better secondary than the Packers do that can help them. Maybe keep in some low-scoring games that can allow a backup quarterback to step in and maybe get 14-17 and win a game that way. But with the Packers, if you don't got Aaron Rodgers slinging the ball over the field, it's going to be a tough down the stretch for them.
And Huntley, their backup quarterback, this was his numbers: 18 of 33, 157 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. He's got a great receiving core to work with, but he probably should have went out and drafted somebody just in case, or signed somebody in the offseason. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and sign some people. Yeah. There are some guys
and they've gone on record saying that they think Huntley is their guy and they're going to stick with him. But
he was also thrown into the fire. I don't think anybody expected him to be in that game, so he might not have been ready. And that's a good secondary that you face.
It is.
So we'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, I think the Packers, they're going to really show without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I agree. Now it's time for our weekly pick'em segment. Kyle, what are our standings looking like?
It's 8-5 now. We're tied. I kind of had to come back. It was a measly 2-2 week, but you went 1-3, so I appreciate that. I'm actually being successful in some pick'em challenge this semester, so we'll see what happens this week, though.
Yeah, we will. So let's just get right off to it. So let's start it off with Texas Tech versus Iowa State. Kyle, who you got?
Iowa State is rolling coming into Lubbock, Texas, but I'm going to go with the Red Raiders because of what happened last year on the road in Ames. If you don't respond to the loss that you had last week and the loss that you had at Iowa State, I would be extremely disappointed in the state of the Texas Tech program.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas Tech as well, just because I do believe that they're a better team than what we showed in the second half of that game against West Virginia and that we've shown all season. And not only that, you bring Iowa State into the Jones Stadium here in Lubbock. The atmosphere is unmatched by any other is unmatched by other teams in college football. So
11 a.m. kickoff. We'll see.
And we kind of struggle with those.
It is homecoming.
It is.
Michigan travels to Happy Valley to take on Penn State. Billy, who you got?
I've got Penn State. Shaquan Barkley is just one of the best players in the country right now. He's phenomenal in every aspect, blocking, pass catching, and not to mention running the ball. So
probably the Heisman Trophy winner, in my opinion.
I think so. He's looking at a hands-down race right now. Baker Mayfield kind of making his case each and every week. But I don't think that anything's going to be able to stop this Penn State team.
Yeah, I like Penn State too. I think they are truly the second best team in the country, and I expect them to make a deep run into the playoffs. So big fan of Trace McSorley as well. Their quarterback, really big talent there that they have.
Notre Dame hosts USC. Kyle, who you got?
When I looked at this matchup, I didn't realize how good Notre Dame had been playing this year. Their only loss was a 1-point loss to Georgia. I think Notre Dame gets it done. I'm going to pick them in that one.
See, I'm going to go with USC. I feel like they have been struggling throughout this year, not doing as well as I think everyone expected to be a top playoff contending team. But with Sam Darnold at quarterback, him holding the reins of that offense, I believe that they'll be able to make something happen and get it done.
Oklahoma State travels to Texas. Billy, who you got?
I've got Oklahoma State. I know Texas has been playing really, really well as of late. Played Oklahoma in a really tough loss that they had there in the Cotton Bowl. But the way that OSU has just been playing throughout this season, and besides that loss to Oklahoma, have just really kept on rolling. So I'm going to go with you, OSU.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State, too. Dominated performance against Baylor. A lot of teams have kind of been struggling with them in conference play. They took care of business. I think they're the better team. Texas, really good defense, but I don't think they have enough to get it done this week.
Yeah. Chiefs and Raiders on Thursday night. Kyle, who you got?
I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. I still think they're the best team in football. I know they lost this past weekend in an ugly game, but I think they're the better team. The Raiders have kind of struggled earlier this year. Derek Carr is still kind of working through a back injury, so I'm going to go with the Chiefs in that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. I think that they just kind of had an outlier game against Pittsburgh. They didn't really fire on all cylinders. Running game wasn't really working. And
they looked perfect through the
first
season,
and they were perfect,
yeah.
Going out 5-0. So I think this one loss against Pittsburgh isn't too harmful to him. And like you said, Derek Carr still nursing that back injury, coming back. So who knows, how healthy he really is. And back injuries are something that are very important for a quarterback. So due to that, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Tony Romo.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big name stories in sports. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Until next time.